Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do a budget comparison, I guess, kind of video where I'm going to take a look at our bills and finances back in March 2018 compared to now with March 2020. So it's been about 2 years. And if you watch my passion planner video where I do a flip through of how I used to plan when I was working, I did do a flip through of this, which was my very first passion planner. And when I got to the back pages, I was kind of surprised to see how I used to budget because it just felt like so long ago, and all of the bills and things that we used to pay for, which we do not have to pay for anymore. So I'm gonna start by going over how I organize this, I guess. So let me get rid of this. We'll go over this part later. And both of these are on the back of my passion planner. This one's the medium size. This one's the small compact size. Okay, so starting with this one, I guess how I organized everything was by due date. And I used to budget, I think, every month. And I believe in this month, was when I started reading Dave Ramsey's Total Makeover book, and I had discovered the debt-free community on YouTube and the baby steps and stuff. So I think that's where me trying to be organized with my money kind of happened because of that. So this isn't really how I budget anymore, but I'll show you guys that later on. So starting with this, so here I have it organized by, it looks like our bills and then debt. What I didn't do, however, was I included our car payment up here, which this is a debt, so that should have been down here. And a couple things on here that increased. So for rent, that went up $100. We now pay $13.95. Daycare, big expense that we no longer pay for, and this amount is for the month. We paid $472.50 every Monday for two boys. One was on the baby side, and the other was like in the preschool side. They were there from like 8 to 5, 8 to 5:30 for pushing it. Luckily, they didn't charge us a fee or anything. They were really cool. So yeah, that's what we were paying, which I was really happy to not have to pay for it anymore. But we did make more money back then also, since I was working. So car payment, $485. We don't have the car payment anymore, thank goodness. DirecTV, we were only paying $11, and I believe this was the last month that we were paying $11 because my husband used to work for the company. He used to work for AT&T, and he got a discount working there. So he started his new job in January, so we ended up having to pay full price. And life insurance for myself was still the same. Internet still the same, or just about the same. Cell phone, we did change up a little bit. We pay for 4 lines, and I believe we try to cut this down to, I believe we pay to about $285 now instead of $368. We cut down all of the things that we weren't using. Just really took a look at what we could cut, and it turns out we were paying for data and stuff that we don't even need, like for tablets and stuff. So we have Wi-Fi at home, and we don't really take our tablets out. So we cut those out of our expenses. Our Mercury insurance is a little bit more expensive now, by like $10. We were paying for Amazon Prime every month, which we pay for yearly now instead of $12 a month back then. And then our electricity, it's just about $50 to $100 on average. So total monthly was that we pay for, not including debt, with the exception of the car payment, we paid $4,350. So now taking a look at all of our debt, crazy to think about. I'm so happy that we finally got tired of paying all this off. And once you take a look at it, I guess you get kind of upset that you're paying this much. We just didn't handle our credit very well. So yeah, every month back then, my debt alone was $690. My husband was $421, and then our joint debt was a personal loan that we took out, which was $400, and we paid, it was $200 every other week. And then we had the car payment. This was really the first month where I kind of sat down and wrote down some financial goals, which I never really did before. I do it more consistently now. But yeah, this was my goal back then. Pay off 3 cards, budget monthly, track our expenses, keep at least $2,000 in savings, which I know for sure we didn't do. I think we kept like reaching for it and using it from what I remember. And yeah, so those were my goals. So taking a look at the actual month of March 2018, I had listed out everything in date order. And I made some notes in red here that we had to paid late from February. I believe these were all late payments. So our internet was late, cell phone was late. I do remember this month was when we just paid double of these things, and as well as our 2 of our personal loans, we had to pay double as well. I believe, so for Landmark, our typical minimum payment was $151, and we had to pay double that because we were catching up from our missed payment in February. So that wasn't fun. And I believe also that this was the first month that we actually paid for rent on time, because I remember I want to say for about a year, we were asking our landlords for extensions, and they were really nice about it. They didn't charge us any extra fees or anything like that. So we were kind of lucked out on that part. So ever since this month, rent has always been on time 2 years later. And it has to do mostly because we did get a state refund that was more than what we were expecting. We normally expect less because we get more out of our paycheck, versus basically when we get paid, we get more in our paycheck versus less. How do I explain this? They take less in taxes, so that's why usually I would think our refund would be not as high. But I think it's because of paying daycare and stuff. We got a credit for that, and then the 2 kids and stuff. I think, I don't know, I'm not an expert on taxes, so yeah. Anyways, so the month of March was when I feel like we got, like, our income was a little bit more than what we're used to. And I did make a note. So my husband did start a new job in January of 2018, which worked out perfectly because we were able to, again, to catch up on bills. That's why I made sure to leave these post-it notes so I can kind of mention that here, that the reason we were able to catch up and stuff with our bills was because my husband did get a pay increase. So at his last job, he would be getting $2,600 per month. And now, on average, he gets paid $2,500 per paycheck. So that really helped catch us up. Plus, I was working back then as well. So, let me see, what else am I missing? Yeah, this is a lot of stuff. 32 items. Oh, and a traffic ticket. Forgot about that. Yeah, I ended up getting a ticket from a stoplight on the way to work. Actually, I was training in a different location, and I got a ticket at one of the lights, and it was one of those where they take your picture and they send it to you in the mail. So I had to go to traffic school and everything. So yeah, that's what that fee was. And there was something else I wanted to mention with our income. I did add these all up, and our income for the month of March, not including our tax refund, was $7,018. And our expenses, the $5,861, that was our expenses, bills and expenses that we typically pay for in the month, just for the bills, not including variable spending. So that's what that amount was, which left us with typically $1,157 extra to use for variable spending, which if you break it down per week is about $289, or bi-weekly $578 bi-weekly. And we are a family of four. And I do remember back then that with the extra amount of money that we had, I never really broke it down into categories like I do now. Like I didn't really have a certain category of like, oh, for food, we're only going to spend this much per month, or gas, this is what we're allowed. We kind of took it as, okay, we have $1,100 to spend in the month. And then we just kind of went from there. And I did attempt to track expenses, it looks like. And I think I made a note, or I highlighted. So orange was for takeout and eating out, not just groceries, which now I do combine it together. Blue is for gas, and then the kind of lighter blue is for groceries. So we did a lot of eating out, a lot back then. And that was something for sure that we changed up. And yeah, so that's kind of how I did budgeting. And I think I only did it for March and April, and then I moved into the other passion planner. And I believe I started using the Happy Planner, I think, in June. So it was June of 2018 when I pretty much declared us to be on this strict plan of just paying down all of our debt. I think it really started in March, but June, I think, is when I wrote down all of our balances for all of our debt in snowball order and focus on paying off the smallest amounts first. So that's why I always think that our debt-free journey started in June. That's when I also started filming YouTube videos as well. So that's it for our March budget, or how March looked back then. Let's take a look at how it is now. Definitely a lot less. I don't budget in my passion planner anymore. If you guys have been following me, you guys know I use the budget by paycheck workbook, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, just so I can show you how I budget. So for March of this year, 2 years later, our bills that we pay for it's still rent, still have electricity to pay for. We did add life insurance for my husband. I still have my life insurance. Cell phone went down. Internet went up $5. We do have Disney Plus, and then our car insurance. We don't have DirecTV anymore. We got rid of that, thank God, because it was $158. I'm very much happy with our Disney Plus. And this amount also includes Hulu as well. And I did list this in date order. And for our debt, compared to, we had 17, 18, 19 things to pay for every month. So now our debt is, there's only 4 that we pay for every month, which is a total of $387. And I did just list it in date order. I do know which order it's supposed to be paid for, but I just wrote it in date order. And I did make a note of our debt to income ratio per month, which is 8%. Which basically means 8% of our income is going to debt every month. And I think I made a note of, where'd it go? Oh, this Post-it note. So back then, 27% of our income, this income right here, was just going to daycare. It's kind of a lot of money. So kind of really happy that I was able to leave my full-time job in March. Basically, my husband's paycheck allowed for me to stay home, which is very fortunate for me. But anyways, going back to this here, total obligations, bills, and our debt this year, or now, is $2,552, compared to in 2018 it was $5,861, and the difference is $3,309. That's a lot of money. There was a drop in our income, but which is about $2,000 less, but we don't pay nearly as much, especially after cutting down our daycare expense. One of the best financial decisions I think that we did incorporate, other than paying off debt, is making sure that we have variable budget categories, because back then I felt like we were just kind of winging it and not really assigning our dollars to anything. We were just spending until we had no more money left over. But now our main budget categories that we do every single month, or variable spending, is food, transportation, household, kids, my husband, myself, fun and events, and miscellaneous. And this is always the same for the most part. We will add Christmas in there and like travel if we have to, but for the most part, this all stays the same. So I'm taking a look at my budget by paycheck workbook. This is how the month looks. I do have a video of setting up my budgets. I won't go into too much detail, but just wanted to show you guys how I budget now and what I use. I do budget every paycheck, which we get paid every other week. So that's how I do everything now. I don't just do one whole month. I like to budget every 2 weeks. So after this paycheck is over, or after this 2 weeks is done, I'll close it out and then we'll start again on another paycheck, or another budget. So that's what I like to do now. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I think this is kind of nice to take a look at, because back then I remember thinking like, man, this is taking forever. I feel like we're always going to be paying this off and nothing's going to change, but a lot can happen in 2 years. So if you guys are stuck in a rut, just keep moving forward. Just follow through with your financial goals. If you F up, you F up. Just pick yourself back up and remember why it is you wanted to manage your finances, whatever it is you guys are focusing on. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Have a good one, guys.